Hello everyone, Katie tuning in once again, and today I have a few very important messages from the Mother Nature herself. I had this amazing chance to talk with her during my very strong and intense mushroom trip in the forest, so go and check that video out. It's called The Ego Death in the Forest. I will link it in the description below. So, if you have watched the video, you know that day me and my husband, we took 15 grams of golden teacher, we ate it in the forest. You still have to be very smart if you are doing things like mushrooms or other psychedelics in the middle of nature, that you should target a very safe and quiet location. You should not be that stupid to do it in the city park or so. But once you put a little bit of effort in this, and you eat these mushrooms, it felt to me really like the place we found and we laid down on was the place where we were meant to be. So that was the first connection. I kind of felt like, wow, this is the place, these are the mossy cushions prepared for us, and it was very nice to feel so safe and comfortable. I was laying there on my back and I was enjoying these beautiful, but really like beautiful constructions or like paintings or curtains the nature revealed to me, which were above us. It was like I was laying in a cathedral. It has nothing to do with trees as we know them, with like single tree stems, you know, and branches and leaves, all these separate things. It was like one entire organism above me, and it was colorful, it was full of very detailed pattern. It was a masterpiece. It was such an art. It was so beautiful. My tears were streaming out of my eyes, and I just could not get enough of that. I was just staring like this. Like, oh, holy shit, where am I? It was like, ooh. And I came to the state of mind clarity at a certain point when my mind was silent enough and enjoying this beauty and love all around me that I suddenly asked the question very spontaneously, like, why cannot we as humans see this beauty every time? Like, why is this beauty revealed to me when I'm now in the psychedelic state, but normally it's not? It was a telepathic question. I didn't have to say these words. I just had to think them. And as I was laying there, Mother Nature responded with a shockwave to me. She like nailed me to the floor, like really, like it was like heavy. My arms were, I could not move for that moment, and I was just laying there, and everything was so heavy, and it was like stones laying all over me. And she revealed all the beauty, even more and more and more of the beauty and love at the same time to me. And my tears started pouring out of my eyes, and my snot started pouring, and I started shaking. And she said, "You see?" And I said, "I see." And I understood. And the answer was, it would kill us. Certainly this much of the beauty would kill us. This much of the love all around us, all these auras, all these energies I could read and feel and enjoy, it will certainly kill my body. My body would not be able to carry all of these. So that was the answer. It was just so overwhelming that she let me experience the entire motion of revealing everything at the same time, and she let me experience that I would not be able to survive because I was not able to think, move, feel anything. Like, you know, it would be I mean, it's very important for our survival to be clear, to exist in this physical world as it is. In the psychedelic world, survival is switched off. It's like, if you guys are familiar with all these sci-fi series and spaceships and so, they have shields, these spaceships always. This force field around the spaceship, and then the captain, either it is Captain Picard or another captain, they say shields up or shields down. And it's basically what you do with psychedelics is normally we have shields up, we have our certain survival agenda. But with psychedelics, that's the reason why you really have to be safe and keep yourself safe, because your shields go down. And everything at that moment gets revealed to you, and it's very important that you experience this, but it's also very important you do not forget your survival agenda before you go tripping, that you really are a smart tripper. Because it could damage your body, you can do stupid things, and it's not worth it at that point. But when you keep yourself safe, it's completely worth it to see all the beauty at the same time. That's a lot what really refills your love tank, which you can carry around. It opens your heart, it makes you kind of better and more loving person in the normal life. That's at least how it works with me. She also revealed to me, that was funny, because suddenly all the beauty was gone, and there was these normal branches and everything was like moving, you know. It was like this psychedelic like mushroomy movement, but it was like normal. It was trees as we know them, and branches as we know them, and separate leaves towards it, and it was all breathing, but there was not any of this beauty, any of this stained glass window like effect anymore at a certain point. And then she started making fun of me. She said like, we decorated here, whoop, and she spread a curtain right above my head with these stained glass window, like perfect masterpiece decoration, and another there, and then another curtain revealed just above my head, and one in the hook of my eye, and another there. And she said, you humans, you love curtains, don't you? And I thought, well, this is funny, what is this? But I said, of course. And she said, you see, decorating places and making them more colorful is a manifestation of being connected to our essence. Because our essence is very colorful, there's infinite scale or infinite spectrum of colors. It never ends. Infinite specter of inspiration and imagination of fantasy. And creative people, she complimented me with that actually, creative people are very much connected to this spiritual essence of theirs, because they don't know why, but they feel it and they manifest it with art. So it was a very nice message from her to explain this to me with, like, that was so funny. She was just between the trees, like suddenly just spread a curtain and these other curtains, and she just let me experience this fully. And my whole body was just vibrating with this message and this orgasmic sensation. Every cell in my body was just jumping with joy. It was so unique, and I still carry this with me, and I understand so much more of my own behavior and patterns and my inspiration, where it comes from. I'm very grateful for this experience. Number 3, she revealed to me question authorities. I think this is very common things for any psychedelics. It's like I was laying there, I think I rolled on my belly, and I was laying on the moss observing beetles, like flying bees and flying beetles and this breathing nature. I was just sailing on it. And suddenly I got conscious about one fact, that any authority I give or I feel in my life, that someone has authority above me, is the only the authority I give them. There's without giving the authority does not exist. It's just a concept, and it's very dualistic, either as like dominance and submission, you know, it's like this dualistic. And for the existence itself, it's completely irrelevant. It also popped the idea in my head, like, life is not about 9-to-5 job. Why would I do this? It's just like, it felt so clear and obvious that all these human concepts are just temporary and unsustainable. It might be sustainable for upcoming 100 years or 200 years, but as long as we evolve, we break these concepts and we break free of the chains that they are putting around us. So it was very nice, like becoming conscious about this authority issue. It's not like someone would just tell me about this. You can read about how authority works. You can listen to certain teachings. You can talk to coaches and psychologists who would explain this to you. But this idea of how she let me feel like this breaking myself off of the authority was so overwhelming and personal and colorful and intense and on a cellular level and energetic level that it really made me conscious of it. And I still carry it with me because it's projecting itself, of course, into our daily lives. You meet authorities everywhere, either it's government, schools, parents, teachers, your husband or your kids, who has authority above who, you know how these dynamics work. It's all just authoritative games, and I started observing that in my life since then, and it's very entertaining to see that, to be conscious of that, not just hear that, but really be conscious of it and work with it, like to set these patterns, or not patterns, to observe these patterns in my life and these dynamics around me. So I'm not sure if nature did that, like Mother Nature herself. I think this generally happens, questioning authorities generally happens on psychedelics at a certain point. Maybe not with your first trip, maybe not with your second, but later if you continue doing it responsibly, you will get there. So, but I had this experience in the forest, all connected with nature, and it really made me so much richer. Another question I asked Mother Nature when I was laying there was because I have certain environmental concerns. We are trying to live green, we separate waste, we laid solar panels, we installed heat pump to spare energy. We are on a plant-based diet and mushroom plants and mushrooms. less car driving, more cycling, and this kind of stuff. I'm really like environmentally conscious, and it breaks my heart sometimes to see how unconscious many people are. And I have this certain fear in myself that humanity will screw up, that we'll screw up this planet, and it will not be able to sustain life anymore. Which is an accurate concern, I have to say. I calmed down quite a lot. I know that people have to go through a certain levels of development. I cannot want radical changes from the majority of humanity to happen tomorrow. I have to be patient, but guys, we are running out of time here. But okay, I asked a question about humanity and environmental destruction. And I closed my eyes, or nature kind of like made my eyes to get closed intuitively. And I got this closed eyes visual. Fractals, metamorphoses, mandalas, spirals. I also get a lot of these Peruvian totem symbols that are metamorphosing and spiralizing all around themselves and so. And she talked to me with words at that moment. She said, there is no such thing as death. There's only metamorphosis. There's only consciousness and pure awareness. Even a stone is consciousness, and if it has to transform, it will transform. And if this planet would not be able to sustain life anymore, or at least life in form we know it or we characterize it, the life would just have to transform. That's it. It would take her several million years maybe, and we will have to go through this evolutionary process once again. But she did not mind. She said like, that's the way it is. I am just a metamorphotic phenomenon or creature, or the pure awareness and consciousness of love. It's just infinite. And she understood that we have egos, and she also told me like that is difficult, and that she understands how difficult we have it, and that the ego is very often very destructive and very egotistical, and that can lead us to the end of our lives as we know it. But don't worry, you will just transition. And that's it. You will just start somewhere else in different environment, and you're stuck here you're stuck here forever. There's no such thing as death for her, which was very intense. And she communicated this with me like with words. There was really like the voice I could hear, but also all these visuals. But also the visuals like taking me inside of themselves. So there was imagine there was a fractal in front of you, spiralizing and metamorphosing into mandalas and spirals and fractals and totems and everything. And suddenly, because your eyes are closed and you're completely present at that moment and at that visual, you start spiralizing with it. You leave your body and you become the metamorphosis, which is very important and very healing state for you to experience, or for everyone to experience. So that was very interesting and very enlightening. And yeah, tears kept pouring. I'm still talking about my tears, but I just keep crying the entire trip. It was like, maybe that's how I got so thirsty at the end. I could not simply bear it, like sitting there like watching movie. I'm completely in, you know. and it's like the love is pushing my eyes out of my skull, and tears are just pouring and pouring and pouring. But tears of joy, gratitude and beauty, and thanks for revealing this to me, let's say. By the way, this painting is what I meant with these stained glass windows. Cathedral-like windows. This is what I saw, but then much more details. This is just a sketch compared to the entire beauty she reveals to me. This one also, or these both, they also look very well with black light, so I'll show you on the screen how beautiful they are reflecting the colors. I really like working with black light because it kind of like makes me think about this fairy tale Lord of the Rings like nature, you know. It's much more like sleeping nature glowing. I like working with these colors. Anyway, moving on to another message, the last message I have prepared for you. The last message is you're always welcome. You might be a complete idiot, you can be abusive, you can be a murderer, you can be a monk, you can be Dalai Lama, whoever you are always welcome. Because when you come tripping on mushrooms in the nature, your ego, your entire your entire identity is put aside, and you stop existing as the person, as the individuum you are, and you just exist as your essence, at least in the high dosage that we have used. That is like that you can compare to passing the gateless gate. Mushrooms are not a gate as we know it. It's just a mushroom. It's not a door. It doesn't have a handle. They are the gateless gate, and you can pass the gateless gate by eating them a large amount, and no one can pass gateless gate, so you have to become no one. And when you experience this state of being no one, experience this ego death, or at least like intense ego suppression, you can pass, you become no one, and you become this, you enter this state of oneness and nothingness at the same time, which is very interesting, and it's impossible to explain. But you're always welcome. She really guided us away from the forest. It was like, guys, you need to drink something, you forgot your water, it's now time to go home, to take some rest. Your bodies had some difficult time with this past trip, so I will see you soon. It was the message. And come again whenever you want. Summer, winter, any season, anything you do, it does not matter. You're always welcome here, and you will get loaded with love and flooded with love, and you will always come home elevated. After every trip I come like you're on a certain level. Then you elevate your consciousness, you ego death, tripping, and then you come back. But I always stay like here. I never return back to normal, and I never return under. I'm making slow progress with that. What followed after this very strange, very strong mushroom trip in the forest? Since then, it's been 3 weeks ago approximately. Since then, I'm completely amazed by trees. I'm cycling or I'm driving, and instead of looking what I'm doing on the road, I'm like, I'm just so fucked up by the beauty as they are, and I have this tendency to greet them like, hey buddy, or like to hug them sometimes. And it's like this real need to connect once again, even without mushrooms, just like, because I'm just so grateful that they are there, that I am here, that we exist as spirits, and that we have these amazing bodies that provide these experiences for us. Like, my body is now a temple. It's like, I bless it, I am grateful for it. Like, it provided me of so much beauty and so many experiences that I really started loving it exactly the way it is. Every freckle, every scar, I love it. It's just the story of the body, you know. And because I work as a massage therapist and a healer, after every trip I feel very strong boost of my healer's abilities. This is very personal, and no promises when you start doing mushrooms that you will become an ultimate healer, but since I started doing it, I can feel energy streaming through my body. I can feel my clients' energies. These are sometimes very heavy. I can feel sound, like I have receptive zones on my face, so if there is a sound outside, I kind of get a little shockwave, which I can perceive with my skin on my, like around my eyes and my cheeks and my mouth mostly. It really makes my body awareness to be boosted, my self-love to be expanded, and my consciousness to be elevated. But yeah, I think I wanted to talk about I could talk about mushrooms for hours and hours and hours, but this video was dedicated to summarize these messages I got from Mother Nature. Give me some love in your comments, share some experience you have. I'm always very happy to hear from you guys. Let me know what you would like to hear from me. Give me some suggestions for like sharing some insights with you. And lastly, I would like to say this. My friends, in the intro of my video you can see an invitation for a Facebook group. I am the admin there, and one other friend of mine is admin. It blows my mind every time, like, people are trying to access the group, like, just not even caring about being a little bit informed. I'm not asking that much, guys. It would be very nice if you could enter the group and really answer all these questions. I'm not asking that much, but just do a little bit of research, you know, about the legal status I'm asking about. It I really need you to know that. We need informed members. So hopefully I will see you there. It's an amazing place to be. We can share some stuff there, share some experiences, photos, pictures, art, whatever you want. It should be a very respectful place. I hope to get there, even if it's Facebook. It can be difficult sometimes. But let's create this nice community together. I will see you there, and I will see you next time in my videos.